11, 11, 11 11 new puzzles from Pelikan. That's one of the biggest releases yet. Here's a very quick review of what you can expect in this video. Nice, good, beautiful, perfect, spooky, difficult, interesting, exciting. This will be the last Pelikan's release in 2022. 11 new puzzles, that's a lot, and there are a lot of beautiful and interesting puzzles that you were expecting. Watch my review of all 11 puzzles, and at the end I will tell you the exact date and time of the new release. And I'll start with two smallest puzzles from this release. As you can guess, they are designed by Asanori Yamamoto, and these puzzles come in a small wooden boxes. I think it's the first time when Pelikan made boxes for puzzles. This puzzle on the left is called P-Badge. It was made using two different types of wood, Vega and acacia, and ash was used for the box. This puzzle has 3 parts and a frame, and the goal of the puzzle is to take it apart and reassemble it again. The disassembling of this puzzle is not very difficult, but the assembling is a little bit more challenging, especially if you take it apart and leave it disassembled for a while and then try to assemble it again. The next puzzle is called Twinkle Star. It is made from 2 different types of wood, Vega and Meerbow. This puzzle has 2 parts and the frame, and as you can see straight from the very beginning, you will find that you can easily rotate both parts inside the frame. That makes it quite an interesting puzzle to solve, since you will find some unusual moves. It is also not a very difficult puzzle to solve, but quite a beautiful one. The name of the next puzzle is Burnage. It was designed by Stefan Chomin. This puzzle was made using 2 different types of wood, Purple Heart and Meerbow. The Burnage puzzle has 4 parts and a frame, and the goal is obviously to take it apart and reassemble it again. It is not a very difficult puzzle. It will take you probably 10 to 30 minutes to take it apart and a little bit less time to assemble it, but it is a very interesting puzzle to solve, and lately I'm enjoying solving less complicated puzzles, since they bring you more joy when you can accomplish something in short time than spend hours trying to figure out the solution and fail at the end. So if you are not a fan of difficult puzzles, the Burnage is the puzzle of your choice. The name of the next puzzle is Vega. It was designed by Stuart Coffin. This puzzle will come in 2 different combinations of wood. The one on the left is made from Zebrana and Purple Heart. The one on the right is made from Zebrana and Vega. And you can choose which one you like more. I think that I prefer the one with the Purple Heart spikes, but this one looks quite nice as well. The name of the puzzle comes from the name of the star, Vega, I guess, since it really looks like a star, but it is a dangerous star since it has a lot of sharp spikes, so be careful when you are touching the puzzle. It was a little bit painful to remove it from the box first time. This is a puzzle that is based on a classic star puzzle, so you can imagine how all the parts will look inside. This puzzle has 6 parts, and the goal of it is to take it apart and reassemble it again. So it's another star-based puzzle from Stuart Coffin, very beautiful one. All of these puzzles usually very beautiful, and I'm always impressed how many more beautiful puzzles can be designed using a classic star-shaped puzzle. The name of the next puzzle is Rosebud. It was also designed by Stuart Coffin. This puzzle was made using 3 different types of wood, Venge, Cherry and Paduk. And it is also a star-based puzzle, but much more complicated. And it will be quite a challenge to take it apart first, since it is a very tight puzzle. It will be very difficult to find which piece you have to grab and move, or which pieces you have to move in order to take it apart. And once it will be disassembled, it will be even more challenging to assemble it back together. But if you want to make the assembling process a little bit easier, you can buy a tool that will be sold separately, and it will help you to put the Rosebud puzzle back together. To be honest, it was much more difficult for me to figure out how this tool works, and I found a way how to assemble the puzzle myself. It was very difficult, much more difficult than I expected. I almost gave up, and it will be also tricky because if you do at least one wrong move, you can damage the puzzle, you can damage the corners of the pieces, and the puzzle will never look nice again. So maybe it's a good idea to buy a template that will help you to assemble the puzzle, just to make life a little bit easier. The name of the next puzzle is Dracula. It was designed by Alphonse Eichmanns. This puzzle was made using two different types of wood, Vega and maple. And the goal of the puzzle is obviously to take it apart and reassemble it again. Right now you can see only Vega pieces, the dark color pieces, and you don't see maple, which is usually white color. Since the last piece, we have 6 Vega pieces, and the last piece, the white color piece, is hidden inside. And if you move some of the parts, you will find that there is a small white piece hidden inside. I don't know if you can see it right now. And if you consider the piece that is hidden inside as an animal, you can count this puzzle as a Zubur puzzle. Something similar to the alligator puzzle from Stefan Baumager. As you can see, the designs are very similar, but this one has alligator inside, and this one has a tiny Dracula in a coffin. And I was really surprised when I found it and removed it from the puzzle. It looks really nice, and at the end you find why this puzzle is called Dracula. It is not a very difficult puzzle, and it will be possible to take it apart in 15 to 30 minutes. And if you pay attention to the moves you made to take it apart, you will be able to assemble it back together without using any help. And since I mentioned Stefan Baumager, here is a puzzle designed by him. The puzzle is called Snooki. It was made using two different types of wood, pink oak and Vega. This puzzle has 6 parts, and the goal is obviously to take it apart and reassemble it again. As you can see straight from the very beginning, you can do quite a lot of moves, and again, it is not extremely complicated puzzle, and it will be possible to take it apart without using any help. And since the pieces are not too complicated, it will be possible to assemble it back together if you pay attention to some details when you are taking the puzzle apart. So it is a nice puzzle that is possible to solve, and also a very beautiful one that you can put on your puzzle shelf. The next puzzle was designed by Lucy Powells. It is called Corner Pack. This puzzle is made from two different types of wood, acacia and Vega. The goal of the puzzle is to remove all parts from the frame, since it comes not solved. The pieces are inside, but you saw a small gap on the side, so you have to find a way how to put all parts inside the frame in such a way that there will be no gaps left and the entire opening will be covered. As you can see, we have quite a large compartment inside. It is 6 by 5 and by 4, so it is quite a roomy space inside, and you have to figure out the way how to fit all these parts inside, and they are quite unusual. And the name of the puzzle probably comes from the shape of the pieces, corner pack, since we have to pack all these corners inside the box. As you can see, I can easily put this part inside of this part, and for example this part inside of this one, and we have like 2 pieces instead of 4. I didn't solve the puzzle yet, but I think that it will be quite a challenge to figure out the correct way to put them inside of the frame. The next puzzle is also designed by Lucy Powells. It is called Pearl. This puzzle was made using 2 different types of wood, acacia and jatuba. And if you shake the puzzle, you will hear that there is something hidden inside. It is a small red pearl that is made from either plastic or glass, and the goal of the puzzle is to remove this pearl and take apart the puzzle and then assemble everything back inside. As you can see, this puzzle has quite interesting frame and a bunch of pieces inside. I think it is 6 pieces, and they make a 3 by 3 by 3 cube, and you have to find a way how to take it apart. I'm not going to show you how to take it apart since it will spoil a small surprise for you, but when I first started solving this puzzle, it took me a little bit of a time to figure out how to take it apart, since at first it looks impossible, since you can't move even a single piece, and it will take you just a couple of minutes to find why you can't move a single piece, and then you will be able to take the whole puzzle apart. The name of the next puzzle is Detonator. It was designed by James Fortune, and it is the most dangerous and difficult puzzle of the release. The Detonator puzzle was made using 3 different types of wood: Paduk, Vega and Garapa, and Garapa was used just for this small yellow stick. This is a very difficult puzzle. The goal of it is to take it apart and reassemble it again. It has 9 parts and a frame, and if you do a couple of moves, you will find that you can easily almost remove the middle piece, but it will stay here almost to the very end, and it will be one of the last pieces that you can remove. This puzzle requires a lot of steps to solve it. Maybe it will be possible to take it apart without using any help, but it will be extremely difficult to assemble it back together. I think that there are only a couple of people who can solve such puzzles both ways without using any help. For me, it will be another Excalibur puzzle that will sit on my shelf for a very long time, since lately I like to solve less complicated puzzles, but I like to have such puzzles in my collection since they look really good. And now a little sweet cherry on top of our puzzle cake. The name of this puzzle is Eros. It was designed by Dr. Volker Latusek. This puzzle was made using 2 different types of wood, babinga and cherry. The Eros puzzle has 6 parts, and the goal of it is to fit all 6 parts inside the frame in such a way that none of the pieces will be sticking out, like you can see right now, and all of them will be below the 2 lips of the opening. Probably this puzzle reminds you of another famous puzzle designed by Dr. Volker Latusek, which is called Casino. And you will be right, it is very similar to Casino puzzle, same number of parts, same goal of the puzzle, but here we have a little bit different shapes of parts. Instead of 6 circle pieces, we have 4 pieces that have a square shape with circle corners, and 2 parts that have a heart shape. The reason for this shape is that this puzzle was designed as a wedding gift to Dr. Volker Latusek's elder brother. Probably now you're wondering if the solution of the Eros puzzle is exactly the same as Casino. No, it is different, and it is worth buying this puzzle since you still will be surprised with all the moves and the solution at the end. It is not as difficult as Casino, at least in my experience, since I solved a lot of puzzles from Volker. I think that if I tried to solve the Eros puzzle before solving the Casino, it will be extremely difficult to figure out the solution. But since I already know some of the tricks from Dr. Volker Latusek, it was a little bit easier for me to find the correct assembling, but still it was a nice surprise, and at the end I found a couple of interesting moves that are possible just because of the unusual shape of new parts of Eros puzzle. I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain you anything about this puzzle, and it still will be sold out in just 30 minutes at Pelikan's website after release. So don't miss your chance to buy another great puzzle from Dr. Volker Latusek. All these new puzzles will be available at Pelikan's website in just 2 days, 25th of November, 10 AM Central European Time. Don't miss the release, since some of these puzzles will be sold out in just 1 hour. Link to Pelikan's website in the video description. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.